What is up, my nerds? Welcome to Table Ready. My name's Noah, and this is The Critical Review, where I critically review every episode of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. Now, I'm feeling much better, but still, my review should be taken with the same amount of seriousness as a promise that I won't say. I gotta say. Now, last week, I didn't have much to say. I wasn't feeling very well, so I'm going to make up for it this week. But we're not going to do a review. We're not going to do theories because I think I can actually wrap them all up into ratings this time. And I got a lot of them, not least of which has to do with Laudna and her big reveal. And I'm going to chat a little bit about why that's good, bad, and ugly. But first, let's talk about Fern, whom we find out is here in the Prime looking for her parents. Her grandmother sent her here because she said she might be able to find them on the Prime. Now, the last place that she got communication from her parents was in Aeor. The mention of Aeor, period, is going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. Please, please go there. Aeor was this floating city back from like the early Calamity times and pre-Calamity that was a floating city that got close to the ability to destroy gods, and like the Tower of Babel fell. Think Jixidor or one of the other floating cities of Netheril if you're familiar with Faerun and the Forgotten Realms. We also learn the names of her family members, including her grandmother, Morrigan, which is also the name of the god of death, war, and fate, so there might be something going on there. The party heads out of Drusar on their next adventure, given to them by LH, to basically go and rob one of her oligarch friends. I'll give the new quest a 6 out of 10. It's not that exciting. It's a money job, and it might have some attachments to Ashen's freedom, but outside of that, it's not that interesting to me. But I'm sure Matt will turn it into a more important, plot-heavy quest. Matt's use of random encounters is really great. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I like how each encounter basically gets 5 rolls or less, and it makes the days move quicker in travel. I run a long travel, difficult terrain kind of campaign, and I'm going to take a note from that. 5 rolls or less. Also, as a DM, random encounters are nice because you'll get to find out who in your party likes to complete every side quest and who likes to stick to the main story. During nighttime watches, we get a lot of character lore dumps, and I love it. This is a great opportunity when you're one-on-one with another character to really learn about them. We find out that Ashton didn't always have a rock-hard bod. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 because honestly, I could care less about Ashton's past outside of what we already know about the Nobodies, and I think present Ashton is much cooler. Liam is doing a much better job of the dead spouse background than Yasha did. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. He's able to tie this into his reason for adventuring, which will get the party engaged in his storyline. As well, he also roleplays this whole situation amazingly, using restraint up to this time and subtlety, which I think are amazing role-playing qualities to have as a player. Hold some things back, be subtle, but honest. Chet's RTA tattoo is hilarious. Recognize the Alpha is so funny. I love how Chet has this like toxic masculine vibe with this tattoo, and he's just this old gnome. Anyways, I love it. It was hilarious. 8 out of 10. And following that 8 out of 10, Matt, I gotta give you a 4 out of 10 for saying,
you know enough to know that most of the existing study on alpha mentality is based on completely debunked information about wolves. The actual physiology and sociology of their history, it is untrue, and anyone who claims anything about being an alpha is completely speaking on a basis of falsehood.
That's not true. In zoology, it's simple enough. The alpha is just the leader of others. So if you have alpha wolves, which are typically a pair, like the parents, they lead the rest, they lead the hunt, and then they eat first. Also, like the main silverback gorilla is also considered an alpha. It's just real. Sorry, Matt. Everybody else is still taking a lot of interest in Sam's character FCG, having delayed problems. We still don't know if this is just about his fatigue or if it has to do with something else. So they take him to the Genius Bar, and we really just find out that there's some kind of hum inside of the mechanical body, but that's about it. 9 out of 10 because I love the mystery, even though I think Sam is a pretty non-dramatic character. He likes his characters to have fun, lighthearted, simple backgrounds that make a lot of sense. So my guess is that FCG is really just being fatigued. Second to last, it comes to my Laudna rant. Now, I love that she actually is one of the bodies that was hanging from the Sun Tree, particularly Vex, because that was a fan theory that everyone had early on, and I thought that was dope. It's really cool tie-in. It takes us back to Whitestone, most likely, and the fact that Delilah is in her head just creates an opportunity for a creepy storyline and quest line that I think it would be really rewarding for not only all of us, but for the people who are just getting into Critical Role because they watched the animated series. You see, we were basically lied to, or at least we were told an untruth by a main character, and that isn't normally how these things go. I know you're going to want to argue, but don't worry, here are the clips that I'm talking about.
But next thing I remember was waking up being hung from a tree.
And do you know, happen to know how long you were dead for?
So I think long, 48 hours, a couple days.
Can we get like a vague idea of how long these people look like they might have been here?
Make an investigation check.
21?
21?
Yeah.
You gather these bodies have probably been here for the better part of a week and a half. There is, mild decomposition starting to settle in. There is a bit of bloating to some of them. Couldn't have been much longer than that.
A week.
It would have been better had Marisha just said, I don't know how long I was dead. I was dead, which would have made more sense. But instead, she confidently said, 48 hours, which is very different than 10 or 11 days. It's also true that Matt will typically interject to correct someone or let them know, you have no idea, you were dead, or maybe it was more than that, but he didn't. It was silence. And that justifiably led me to bust that theory, which later became true. And I don't know if that was an intentional thing, if she was throwing us off the scent, but I do think it was kind of whack, and I can't think of a reason why they would have retconned that moment. So this moment for me gets a 2 out of 10, even though I love the backstory and moving forward, I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of Laudna's entire story. Lastly, I'm gonna rate the 7-year anniversary. I gotta say, it's a little lackluster. Like, I thought there would be more. Maybe a giveaway or like some cool announcement of something else going on. And they did an announcement video previously, and then they did the, cool jester video, but none of it was that exciting, except the blooper reel. I am a sucker for a blooper reel, and before the episode, I was like, if nothing happens, I'm probably giving this a 5 out of 10, but that brought it up to a 7. So the blooper reel is gonna get a 10 out of 10 for me. Now, if you wanna get a 10 out of 10, please make a mage hand out of the like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hop in the comment section below. I said a lot of things that obviously could be wrong, or you guys may agree with or not, or maybe I missed some things from the episode. So drop your ratings below, start a cool conversation about this week's episode, and please comment about the situation with Laudna. All right, guys, thanks. I will see you next week.